What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Sunday night's late night agenda. I hope that you're all as happy as I am after that result yesterday. Really does put the Reds back in the top four mix. If we win a game in hand, we're just 3 points behind Newcastle. Spurs, of course, did inch a little bit ahead today, but we are right back in the mix, my friends. And all eyes now and all roads lead to the game against Real Madrid on Tuesday night at Anfield. But today, I want to talk about the European Super League, and I know that you're probably sick of it, but I read a really interesting article in the Athletic earlier on, which I definitely urge you guys, if you have an Athletic subscription, to go and have a read of it. And it was a survey conducted by the Athletic to their readers around their thoughts on the Super League. Now they posed four primary questions in here, and I'm going to go through the questions one by one. Going to give you the results of each question survey, and of course, I want to know your thoughts. So do let me know in the comment section. Of course, please do drop a like on the video, and if you haven't already joined the 163,000 people who've already subscribed to the channel, please do. The more the merrier. Right, look, I'm going to get stuck into it. So look, you know my thoughts on the Super League. I'm very anti the Super League. I don't want it to happen because I just don't like the thought process behind it, and I think there's nothing wrong with the Champions League as is. But my opinion is mine. I want to know yours, and of course, I'm interested to see the results of this survey from the Athletic. So the first question that the Athletic posed to their readers was, do you think the backers of the European Super League are motivated primarily by ... and then there are five possible answers. Answer one, a desire to create the best possible competition. Answer two, player welfare. Three, self-interest. Four, a desire to increase financial sustainability. Or five, wanting to support women's and grassroots football. So again, five varied answers there. My own thought, of course, is greed. That's always my answer to these things. And it did seem like that was the idea, or that was the viewpoint of the Athletics readers as well, because only 1% said that they believed it was because of a desire to create the best possible competition. So, that's a very minuscule amount. Normally in these type of surveys, you could almost try and get 10% of people to agree with pretty much anything. Player welfare, 0%. 0% thought it was to do with player welfare. And why would it be? Because there's going to be an increase of games here. So I totally understand that standpoint from the readers. A self-interest. That's the one that wins, with 81% of the poll suggested that they're primarily motivated by self-interest in this. A desire to increase financial sustainability is 17%. Obviously, that's something that the founders are behind this kind of try to allude to, that they were just trying to create a better tiered football system where the money's distributed more equally, yada yada. And then 1% thought it was wanting to support women's and grassroots football. So you can see the clear winner there from question number one from the Athletic readers was just self-interest. Basically greed is what I take from that. And that's pretty much where my mind was when I started out. So let's move on to question number two and see what the answers were to this one. So the next question that the Athletic posed to their audience is, do you believe a European Super League in some form will launch? Fairly standard, good question. There are four options to this one. The options are in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, or it will never happen. This vote was a little bit more split. Now, from my own viewpoint, I want it never to happen, but I couldn't sit here in good conscience and say that I think it's 100% completely dead in the water and there's never any chance of it coming back. So my own take would be potentially in the next 20 years if I was to vote in this one. So let's see what the audience voted for anyway. So 23% of those polling the Athletic said that in the next 5 years they think the Super League will happen in some form. 39% said they think it will happen in some form in the next 10 years. 12% went for what I went for, that it would happen at some point in the next 20 years. And 26% of those surveyed said that they don't think the European Super League will ever happen. Again, I want to know your thoughts on this subject and in this particular question, of course. So do let me know in the comment section. Two more questions to go on this one, and the last one is the one that really interests me, especially with regards to your opinions, folks. So we move on to question number three. It said, do you think clubs breaking away from your domestic league would be a good or a bad thing? And this one only has two answers. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. And it was a landslide, my friends, an absolute landslide. Only 6% of those surveyed said that they thought that their club potentially breaking away from their domestic league was a good thing, and 94% of those surveyed thought it was a bad thing. And I would certainly be in the 94% in this category. I think it's a ridiculous idea. Now, it is important to point out that with the newest proposal of the European Super League, there is no talk of clubs breaking away from their own leagues. It is just about replacing the Champions Champions League. Albeit if Premier League clubs like Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, or Manchester City did join the Super League, they'd probably be kicked out of the Premier League anyway for breaking the rules. So, again, just good to see that 94% of people there thought it was a really bad idea. We're moving on to the last question now, and this is the one that intrigued me the most, and that's why I left it to last. If your team broke away from the Premier League to join the European Super League, would you watch them more, watch them just as much, watch them less, or stop following them entirely? Now, this is a question that I personally have wrestled with my over the last couple of years since the Super League was initially muted to launch. When it happened, I would firmly have put myself in the 21% category there of people who say that stop following them entirely. And I've just given you the answer to that one, by the way, but 21% do say that they would stop following entirely. And I think I'm probably still in that category. But again, I will know more when this is put to the test, if it is ever put to the test, because it's one thing saying, oh yeah, I'd give up supporting Liverpool Football Club. But during the pandemic, during COVID, I realised how much football and Liverpool meant to me, particularly with regards to my day-to-day life and how much I look forward to the games of the weekend. But I just feel like a Super League would dilute down the joy of getting to play a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich. And I think that if you played these teams twice a season, every season, it just kind of takes some of the, not the joy out of it, but some of the exclusivity out of it. Some of the, you might play a team for 10 years, then you come up against them, it's a big deal, everybody's looking forward to it. So for me, I'm in the 21%. But there was 2% of people who said they would watch their club more if they joined the European Super League, which is, again, a pretty small amount. 42% of those surveyed said that they would watch their team just as much. That's fairly honest from these people. I think most people would probably be against the Super League, but would find it very hard to give up supporting their football clubs entirely. And then 35% of the audience said that they would watch their team less if they joined the Super League. So I want to know, of course, where you are with regards to this Super League debate. It's important that we get viewpoints, I believe, from all around the world, from local fans who attend games, fans like myself who come over from Ireland, and then fans, of course, from America, Australia, Asia, and all other parts of the world that would have to get up at some crazy times to watch the Reds. I want to know your thoughts on the Super League. Do you think it's going to go away? What are your answers to these questions? And most importantly, what would your stance be if Liverpool at any point in the future were to look to join the European Super League? I hope it doesn't happen. I think with the revamped Champions League, or with the concessions that the UEFA have given to Premier League and top European clubs, I think there's probably just enough there to keep it at bay for the time being. But that is just that. It is my opinion. It is now over to you, my friends, and do keep an eye out for the Real Madrid preview video. That's going to be coming out very soon on the channel as well. I don't know as I record this if Darwin is fit or not, so we'll have to kind of play that one by ear. But again, looking forward and interested to see your thoughts on this one, my friends. And I'll catch up with you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.